Right then, so our first look at the packaging. Now the first thing to say about these is they are 3.5mm jacks. It's not a USB headset. Difference between 3.5mm jacks and USB headsets is if you have like a dedicated sound card, like say for argument's sake, the Zonar Phoebus is a good gaming one, and then you've got things like the D2X and the Essence, all Zonars. They've obviously got dedicated like headphone amps and stuff like that on them. Also, some of the newer motherboards nowadays, like the MSI gaming range and the Gigabyte Sniper range, all have dedicated headphone amps built onto the motherboards. Now, if you've got a USB headset, then you're not going to get to use any of those features. So the fact that we have got the old school, if you'd like to call it that, 3.5mm ones, does mean that you get to utilise those features. It does say here that it's got large 50mm drivers. It is a stereo headset, but there are some surround options and stuff with it as well. It says it's designed for comfort, and it has a noise cancelling microphone, so that could be pretty handy, for argument's sake, if you had music on while you were talking on Skype, or considering it's a headset, most people are going to be ending up using that if you're talking to your mates while you're fragging and, you know, playing your games and all that kind of malarkey. Now, I've not opened this. It literally is a sealed box, so I'm going to shout at Jay to get me the knife out. There we go. So we'll try and get this done. Come on. Did we get it? No. It's a pretty tough sticker, this. They should make phone covers out of that stuff. Anyway, right, so we shall whiz it out of the box. It's just a kind of plastic housing, if you have a look. Standard Corsair headset packaging design. And then we get into this bit. You can get the first glimpse of the 1400 embellishment down on this side. You can see that we've got the fixed headset there, but let's have a look. Have we got any more? Yeah, we've got yet another sticker, so we'll undo that. So that's that opened. What we can do is pull that tab around, and then we can have a look at the headset. Is that going to actually be able to pull out? Yeah. Ooh, heave, heave, heave. Right. So other than some instructions and a warranty thing, that is the packet open. So we're now down to the raw headset. What I'm going to do quickly is just remove the plastic, which first impressions that braid on the cable in there is actually really soft and nice. It's nice and thick as well, but like I said, it feels nice and soft. Now there is a bit of Velcro around it, so you can obviously put it away tidy, but the cable is enormous. It doesn't actually say on the packaging how long this cable is, but I'm going to guess, by a rule of thumb, that's going to be about 2 meters. Just by kind of going and spreading it out and getting it all off camera. By spreading it all out, it does feel like it's about 2 meters. It's good 2 of my, if I was to stretch my arms apart, it's good 2 distances between the two. Now we have a clip-on volume control here. There's a button that you can turn the microphone on and off, and then it is a very thin volume control wheel, very thin on the side, but you can obviously clip this on somewhere, and it's not that far away from the end of the headset either, so it could easily go on like your lapel or something, or maybe on a pocket if you're really that fussed about it. But anyway, that's there. On the end, we have the two 3.5mm jacks, blue connections. Then again, we have got blue detailing on the headset, so that's probably why that's there. And we've obviously got one for the headphones and one for the microphone. And if you look very closely, there are green Oh, hang on, get it on camera, Thomas. Whoop, there we go. There are green and pink detailing, so you can tell the difference between the two. Now, headset. You can see that it does rotate. It only rotates one way, but I'm assuming that's because if it was to rotate the other way, it could damage the microphone. The microphone, as I've already said, is noise cancelling, but it's also fixed. You can't remove it. Some of the ones that have got a fixed boom like this, you can unclip them. This one is fixed on there. It's also, where it's a fixed boom, it's non-retractable either. Now, Brian did say in the review that sometimes with a fixed boom that can help with Corsair to tune the way the microphone actually works, but with some of the competition in this sort of price range, so this comes in at £56, a couple of the other headsets have got a retractable boom, so it really depends whether you think this is going to get in the way, or let's face it, if you're only ever going to be putting these on when you're playing Battlefield 4 or whatever, then is it really going to make that much difference to you? Saying it's non-retractable, you know, it's a fair comment. It is fairly sturdy though. I'm giving it a good old wiggle there. I reckon you could probably chuck these off your desk or have a bloody nerd rage and it wouldn't completely fall apart. Now the headband, as we have a look, Brian did pick up when he did his that the packaging has left a slight indentation in the top of this, and it's a fair comment. It has. It's not too bad on the top, but on the inside, I'm going to try and get this in the right light. You can see that there's an indentation there from the package. Now I've had a word with him and he's had these a few weeks, and he said that even though he's been using them quite a bit, the indentation hasn't really gone. Now we are being proper picky, but that is because of the packaging. So it would depend whether it would drive you nuts. It looks like the type of thing that should be there when it's been, the headset can be folded. But I don't know, when you run your hand across the top, it's all nice and smooth till it gets to the point where the packaging was, and then there's a big indent. And I'm not saying that it's a bad headphone design. We're just kind of pointing out that it's just down to some bad packaging design, really. Anyway, if we have a look this side, we can see that we've got yet more of that blue coloration in the headset. It's inside the headset itself, covering up the 50mm drivers. The ear cups do feel nice and soft, but I'm going to have to try them on, I think, and show you how much of a gamer I look like with some of these on. Now when you've got them on, they do feel quite comfortable. I don't know whether I'm shouting or anything because I've got some quite loud music on. Right then peeps, so in all honesty, you can see that the ear cups here are quite big, and I have got some fairly big old lug holes on the side of my head, and some days if I tilt my head towards the north, I can pick up Canadian TV. So yeah, anyway, so they are quite big, but they're quite comfortable as well. If you've got big ears like me, and you're blessed with big ears like me, I should say, your ears will fit inside nice and comfortably. Something I do seem to find when I wear headsets, which is why I don't very often, is that I feel that I get kind of headaches with them. But these were really comfortable. I didn't, notice too many problems like that at all. They didn't feel like they were pinching my head too much, and at the same time they didn't feel like they were loose on my head either. But then again, another thing that people keep saying to me online is I've got a big head, so maybe that's why. Anyway, so the sound quality, I have to admit, I do like my music. I don't play a lot of games, so I'm relying on Brian for this. And he was saying that for games, there's a lot of mid-range with these, which is perfect for games. The bass and the treble and everything like that is a good sound quality, but we do need to remember these are 56 quid. These aren't a pair of £150 or £200 audiophile headsets. And I would have thought if you're in the market for a set of headphones like these and you want them to do or be a bit of a jack of all trades, then you're going to be more than happy with them. If you're an audiophile, then at the end of the day, if you're an audiophile, you're probably not going to be buying something with a fixed microphone anyway, so those guys are probably going to be looking elsewhere. But for all of you out there that are going to be looking for these as a predominantly gaming headset, then you'll probably, you know, you're going to be more than happy with them. Something else to put out as well, think about as well, is that they are stereo. There's no kind of like loads of different microphones, loads of different speakers inside these. And something that a lot of people will be thinking about is positioning when you're playing your games. And that was also another point that Brian said. They were very clear and concise, and you could hear people creeping up behind you or, you know, to the side of you and stuff like that. And it did make positioning while in game really easy to kind of gauge where people were and get them and snipe. And he didn't notice any fallbacks with these compared to some of the other headphones in the ranges, price ranges, I should say. Right then, peeps. So Brian did award these on the in the main review on the website a silver award, and he gave them an 8 for performance, an 8 for price, and an 8 for presentation. I think presentation-wise, these are actually really pretty. I personally really like these. I like the fact that you've got the nice gunmetal sides on them with the little blue kind of accent rings on, Corsair logo on the side. They look and feel very similar to the 2100s, which are significantly more expensive. And really, the only difference I can see with these is the fact that we've actually got it's corded with 3.5mm plugs, and it's not USB. But if you're one of those people, as I've said, that have got a dedicated sound card, or one of those people that have got those headphone amp options on your motherboard or features on your motherboard, then I think these would probably end up being a slightly better buy for you. So yeah, OC3D Silver Award, I actually really like them. They're definitely a grower on me. You can see that we've got a lot of adjustment and stuff, which I should have covered sooner. But anyway, so there we go. That's our review of the Corsair Vengeance 1400 headset. Do let us know if you think this could be on your wish list to spend your Christmas money on, because let's face it, a lot of us will have got money, because us gamers and nerds are incredibly difficult to buy for, so people end up just giving us bloody money. Whether that's our fault or their fault is up for discussion. But for now at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan with, I've just realised, look, oh look, looks like a smile and some eyes, just needs a nose in the middle. Anyway, that's the slightly deranged and lunatic Tiny Tom Logan out.